go ahead and close your eyes so you can visualize the story. Just let your breath relax you, breathing in and breathing out. Just bringing your attention to this moment right here, listening to the sound of my voice, and letting your breath flow in and out. The warm waves caress my bare feet as they press into the wet sand. It's almost dawn. My dress flutters loosely against my bare skin. The last few nights feel like a dream. I wasn't even supposed to be on this island, not for this long, anyway. I suppose that's what happens when you suddenly quit your cruise ship job and are stuck at the nearest port. All I needed was to book a plane ride home, but instead, I decided on a sudden and uncharacteristic impulse to live in the moment. I watched as the cruise ship left port and slowly became smaller and smaller as it headed out to sea. And there I stood, just me and my suitcase. I stuck a straw sun hat on top of my head and turned to walk into the only town on the island. There was a carnival a few blocks down from my port, and I decided to stroll through on my way to who knows where. For once, my mind wasn't spinning, trying to plan every step of my life. Finally, I was in this moment, and it was time to live. One of the first rides to greet me was the Ferris wheel, an old favorite of mine. I left my suitcase with the ride operator, not even caring if they stole it. They wouldn't be getting much: my toothbrush, a few cruise uniforms, some clothes for trips for the mainland. Absolutely nothing of any substance. I was flying free as I stepped onto the ride. A few couples got on, and some friends stepped forward. I stopped paying attention and focused as I rose higher and higher in the air. I let my mind go blank and enjoyed the distant view of sapphire blue water, surrounded by a white, sandy beach and some palm trees. I could think of worse places to be temporarily stranded. And then the ride ground to a halt. The operator yelled something about mechanical difficulties, and just like that, I was stuck. Suddenly it felt quiet, there near the top of the ride. My hair blew in the breeze. My dress continued to flutter, and I could hear the seagulls calling to each other. Even though I didn't know what was going on, I felt peaceful. And then I heard, "Hey neighbor." I looked up. On the bench ahead of mine, at the very top of the ride, there he was. He was all white teeth, tanned skin, eyes that drew me in, and rippling muscles under his torn t-shirt. Just looking at him made me blush. "Neighbor?" I managed to ask, finally. "Yeah, we're stuck here for who knows how long. Might as well get to know each other," he grinned. I looked at the bench below me. On one, 2 couples were in a lip lock. On another, 2 women were deep into a conversation. I supposed he was the only person I really had to talk to. And that was way better than staring at my phone. "I heard you singing to yourself," he continued. "Sorry," I apologized, embarrassed. Perhaps I had lowered my guard too much, gotten too carried away with my newfound sense of freedom. "Don't be," he said. "You weren't off key." I smiled. "Adrian," he said, reaching out his hand to shake mine and then pulling back to laugh. The space between us was far too much for that. "Lena," I said with a wave. "Tell me about you, Lena," he said. And I felt like I could. For once, I felt no inhibitions. "Well, I'm fresh off the boat," I joked. "The cruise ship, that is. Coral Princess. Didn't that one just leave? He asked. Yes. I'm stuck here until I can get a flight out. I decided life was too short to work on a cruise ship, directing pointless activities for people who usually don't care about anything other than the buffet anyway. Sounds like the right choice, he replied. What's your story? I asked him. I work at a surf shop when I'm not surfing, and most times I sleep on the beach waiting for the best waves. His smile sparkled at me. He wasn't my type at all, an aimless surfer? I liked people with direction, but then again, sticking to a rigid plan only led me here, wishing to be free of responsibility. Maybe it was time to try something new. We talked for hours as the ride was fixed, and when it finally brought us back to Earth, I walked up to stand beside him. He was a few inches taller than me, and oozed with the charisma and a kind of mystery I absolutely had to solve. As we continued our conversation, we strolled to the beach. The waves were soft on the shore, and the sun was setting. It was so beautiful. It seemed the perfect setting to be spending time with Adrian. And I thought, Adrian eats, sleeps, and breathes surfing, and I know nothing about it. But there was just something about him, something even more than his good looks and beautiful smile. He had an energy to him that just drew me in, magnetized me to him. The more I spoke to him, the more I needed to know. I didn't care about finding flights, or what happened to my suitcase, or where I'd stay that night. I finally was living in the moment for the first time in my life, and he somehow was a big part of how I was able to do so. We walked the beach and talked about nothing and everything until late at night. And then, with a teasing smile, he slowly leaned over, and time stopped as he kissed me. I could feel myself melt into him as the warmth of his mouth embodied mine. We spent the next few hours kissing and laughing in the sand. Eventually, the sunrise reminding us of the time. Adrian invited me back to his place to wash off the sand. He felt safe, like I have known him for years. Our souls were connected, and the way he kissed had me curious for more. I accepted his offer, again, completely unlike me, but I couldn't resist. I felt a hunger stirring. His place was simple, clean, and welcoming. As he walked me in, he brought me to the shower, kissing me gently as he turned on the water. We both stepped into the shower, and he helped me wash the sand off.